Screen actors, today you're going to learn an acting secret that will give you the power to slip into the skin of any character that you're ever going to play. And when you have that power, you'll be more compelling and confident and almost irresistible to watch on camera. I'm Louis DeBianco, and this is my channel, Screen Acting Success. This is where you come for tips, techniques, and secrets to help you become a more compelling, working screen actor in demand. If this is your first time here, click subscribe. And if you like what you see and hear, give the video a thumbs up. So let's get into this acting secret. But before I do, let me give you a little background on how I discovered this. This isn't something that I read about in a book. This has come from years and years and years of not only teaching acting, but of being in front of the camera myself and being put to the test, making mistakes, being terrible sometimes, being okay, being really good sometimes, and occasionally being excellent. And then reassessing what made the difference in my performances. So what you're going to learn is that you need to become and trust your inner instincts. You need to become an actor who is inner directed versus outer directed. That's another way of saying that you want to be an actor who works from your instincts and your heart, and you are not showing up on camera in your head thinking. Because know this about the camera: no matter how much you think that the camera doesn't see and feel you thinking, it does. And how does it communicate that? By making you appear a little wooden, a little stiff, a little false. And you don't want that at all, do you? Of course not. You want to have the freedom to be spontaneous when you're in front of the camera, to be able to react in the moment honestly. So, years ago when I was studying acting and when I was teaching acting, I taught like many acting teachers teach, that you've got to really do a lot of analysis with your mind and to find your character, which is not a bad thing. The problem is that often, especially when you don't have a lot of experience, you bring that thinking to the performance, and that takes you out of the moment. Because if you're acting but you're thinking about stuff that you read, things that you've done and written down when you were analyzing a character, then you're not present. You're not here. You're not just allowing the character to show up. So here's an example of what I mean. Let's say that you're going to play a convict. This is whether you're a male or a female, an actor or an actress. You're going to be playing someone who's doing hard time in prison and whose whole purpose is to break out of prison and escape, driven by that need, by that powerful intention. Now, I'm going to assume that most of you who have chosen to be actors and actresses are not going to be bringing that kind of life experience to the role. You might. There are some actors who came to acting after having served time in prison, and they became really good actors. But let's assume that most of you have lived lives on the safe side, and you've explored danger in acting, not in life. You've explored danger in your imagination, in your creativity. Well, that is great, because here's the secret. To be an inner-directed actor? No, actor is the union that I belong to. That's in Canada. To be an inner-directed actor, you must trust 100% in your imagination. So, let's say you're that person who has never been near jail, and suddenly you're going to be saying things that are spoken by a person who is a hardliner, who's maybe been in jail for 2 or 3 years and has hardened to that life. Well, you're going to be speaking those words and you're just not going to feel authentic. So you begin doing research. You begin maybe finding someone who spent time in prison and interviewing them. Maybe you even get permission to go into a prison and check out what life is like in there. And I'm not saying you shouldn't do all of that, but that is the outer work. That's the analytical work. And what it'll help you with is giving you the shell of the character. Certain forms of specific behavior. How a convict carries him or herself when they're walking out of their cell and making sure that they're not going to get jumped or killed by another inmate. How they behave when they're in the mess room. How they behave and look, what their body language is like when they're confronting or speaking to a guard. That's great stuff. It'll give certain credibility to your role, to your performance. But what it won't give you is the essence of the character. So how are you going to get that? I'm here to tell you that you already know what it's like to be in prison. And did you already know in your heart and in your emotions that powerful need to break out? Think I'm losing my marbles? Well, have you ever felt that you weren't living the life that you were meant to live? That somehow, no matter what you did, you always found yourself trapped inside this box in a life that you really don't like. Most people have felt that, and today, a lot of people feel that very strongly. Well, guess what? That's a form of imprisonment. And it's just as real as being physically behind bars. So, your inner work involves going inside and allowing yourself to acknowledge and bring to the surface that feeling of being trapped, that feeling of being limited, of living a life that you haven't chosen, but that people are dictating to you, just like a prisoner does, living a life that's dictated to them by the guards and the prison system. When you get in touch with that feeling, also awaken the feeling of what it would feel like to be free, to be living the life of your dreams, to be living outside of that confined box and have a feeling of no limitation. You know what I'm talking about. If you will allow yourself to make that journey, just get in touch with what you already have inside of you, and then you allow that to be present when you get in front of the camera, you'll discover that when you speak the lines of a person who is physically behind bars, that they're going to have new meaning. They're going to feel real and authentic. And that will be your secret. I'll also advise you that when you tap into this and it's working for you, and somebody says, wow, how did you do that? Don't reveal it. Guard it. Guard it like it's something precious, because it is. That is your sacred truth, your power to go inside and find the life of any character. So after this video, write down a whole bunch of characters that you might play or would love the challenge of playing, that whose lives are so far away from your own, and then begin to ask, what is the essence of this person's experience? Is it frustration? Is it a feeling of disempowerment? Is it a feeling of being pushed around, etc.? And then acknowledge what areas of your life you already know those feelings from. Take that leap. Make that courageous step. Use your imagination and show up in front of the camera and play like there's no tomorrow. If you've gotten value from this, please leave your comments below with your most important takeaway. It will inspire other actors. It'll also encourage many other actors to see this and look at this particular video. And once again, give the video a thumbs up if you really liked what I just shared with you. And of course, if you haven't already subscribed, do it now. I'm going to leave you with this. Oh, before I forget, you'll find a link below the video that will take you to a free resource that I'm giving you, which is an ebook, a 21-page detailed ebook on how to master self-taping at home. And you'll find another link that will give you, take you to the site where you can learn all about my online course, Self-Taping Mastery. At least check it out. Find out what it offers, what bonuses you can get, and then make a decision if it's for you or not. Always remember that whenever you have a script in your hands, the first thing you want to do is feel it. Then, when you have the feeling, you say it. You speak the lines. And if you do that in that order, feel it, say it, you'll mean it, and then chances are that you'll book it. Go out and create a stellar on-camera career for yourself, and let me know about it so that I can celebrate with you. I'll see you in my next video.